Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, April 17th, 2025. And listen, we are in a mini marathon in the Java Cafe. I have our city council president, Ruth C. Louis Jen. I think I got it right. I got corrected the other day. Pam corrected me, but she'll get me together today. But we have limited time. And so I want to bring her in. We're going to discuss a few things. Check in on her. She's a woman in leadership, a Black woman, a woman of Haitian descent. And that intersection of marginalization in this, well, anyway. Counselor, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't know if that was the best setup to have you come in and greet the folks and be positive, but it's really real. So, as I do with folks, with the mayor, Congresswoman Presley, leadership, you move in a space that has you exposed to a lot, late hours, doing a lot. I have to ask, with all due respect, how is Ruth C. doing?
Ruth C. is doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing all right. There are a lot of fights we're fighting, and that setup was fine, Jimmy. By the way, you look great. I love your lighting. Everything looks amazing. Like, you look good this morning.
You didn't.
But I'm doing okay. Like, of course, the work is a lot and it's heavy and it's on multiple fronts, right? It's local, it's federal, it's the Museum of African American History losing funding, it's Sojourner Truth, it's Colonel Woody Woodhouse, one of the last surviving Tuskegee men, being removed from federal websites. It's the attack on our immigrant communities, on Haitian communities. So the work is heavy. But I thank God for this calling, because he wouldn't have called me if he didn't feel like I could handle it. And I do hope for more days of some rest. But I'm grounded every morning, and my devotional helps to set me straight for the day, and knowing that God won't forsake me. And so I am here. I have a really good team. I have some great colleagues, and we do the work together.
That's one of the things, Counselor, that's a few things in is a good transition to one of the main reasons I asked you to come in today is, you talk about the scripture you just mentioned, and it made me think of, working in community and whatnot. And there is a lot of conversation, Counselor, about whether there will be a special election in D7 or not.
Yeah.
There are pundits that are expressing their opinion. There are people that are observing that from the community that may not be your, super voter or whatever. What is the clarity from your lens as someone who's been a counselor, a lawyer, knows Boston Poly? Mm-hmm. What is your perspective? And if you could tell us through a lens of how you see equity, and right. We have to talk about the concern of a lot of people that a lack of representation, and let's just name also, Counselor, there's a lot of ambiguity. Yeah. So I'll shut up and let you, ma'am, please explain why you submitted the home petition rule. Anything you want to share in reference to yesterday's proceedings and the outcome of that, feel free to as well. But floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so let me try my best to explain. So unfortunately, we know that there is going to be a vacancy in the District 7 City Council seat. The current councilor has stated her intent to resign. It is unclear what date she will resign. There is a requirement under our charter to have a special election if there's a vacancy more than 180 days before the general election. So we have a general election this year. The mayor's on the ballot. I'm on the ballot. The city council is on the ballot. We are 20 days away. So we are today at day 200. So we're still within the window of having to have a special election. There's a chance this current city councilor resigns prior to May 8th. May 8th is the deadline for the requirement. There's a chance she doesn't. We have an obligation, I believe, on the city council to provide clarity to the residents and to the candidates and to everyone as to what the election schedule looked like. Yesterday, I submitted my statement of candidacy, and a lot of other people submitted their statement of candidacy as well for District 7 for the general election in November. Should we have a special election at the same time? I am really concerned about voter turnout in Roxbury for a special election. That is what everyone is concerned about.
Can I clarify? Can I clarify, Counselor? Because you know how some trolls are. Everyone's not concerned, including some Black folks. Indeed, so I just yes, ma'am. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because there are people who see a benefit to gain from low voter turnout. But as people who care about democracy, as people who care about Black and brown people accessing power and being centered and having their voice heard, our people have to go to work. Our people have to drop their kids off, take care of their kids, take care of their grandma, take care of their cousins, everything like that. I'm not mad at you if the first thing on your mind isn't, oh, there's a special election coming up that is off schedule, that is during the summer. So the earliest date right now, and we haven't even received a notice of resignation. The city clerk would have to receive a notice of resignation, and that would trigger the city council to then have to schedule a special election. At our rate right now, even if we moved as quickly as possible to set things in motion, the earliest you could have someone in the seat for District 7 under a special election would be mid-August. And then they're running again for the preliminary on September 9th, and then again on November 4th. And District 7 deserves a great advocate, and they deserve time to vet those candidates. If you have Mass Vote, if you have Reclaim Roxbury, if you have all of these organizations, all of the elected officials saying, yeah, that makes sense, it's only because this is what makes sense. Maybe this home rule petition won't be necessary because there won't be a resignation before May 8th, but I have a duty as a leader to set an example.
I'm sorry, because
I saw you trying to get in, and I was like, I just need to make this point, and so I'm done.
You're good. It's really reaction to the fact that council, and I'll say this, you don't have to give any response. But understanding Boston Poly, understanding the times that we are in now, with the low voter turnout primarily in Roxbury. Let's also define as we're educating folks. District 7 is currently made up of Fenway. Also, shout out to you because you had a very interesting role in the redistricting, but that's a whole nother topic there. It's Fenway, South End, and Roxbury, correct, right? My concern is, based on some activity of some counselors on the council, is with low voter turnout, primarily in the Roxbury area in generals, you got a special. My concern is that some folks will attempt to slide somebody up in that D7 seat who's not from Roxbury. Now, I know from some people from the South End and Fenway may say, well, we need representation too, but the counselor, are you moving in this way and you kind of did it, but I'm going to blatantly ask you why. In one or two sentences, why are you not in favor of a special election?
This home rule petition came from community members asking us saying that we do not want a special election because we want to make sure that we are able to get the best candidate, and we get the best candidate by turning out the most voters and informing the most voters. That is why in this truncated time period, I'm not in favor of a special election. Let's say it was 2 months ago, there was a vacancy, or December, or, then a special election probably would have made sense. But right now, the earliest you would get someone in the seat is mid-August for them to run again September 9th. It does not make sense, and it's doing a disservice to the residents of District 7.
It is, and not just from Fenway and South End, but there are some perennial runners that have also got name recognition. You get some folks out, and often. Well, anyway, Counselor, we got a couple of minutes left. We're this is marathon weekend, and Jack Fleming is coming in just a few moments, and you'll get a chance to speak and talk some marathon talk. Yeah. But I want to also ask you, Counselor, while I have you, there was some footage that is in a news story that came out in reference to, Counselor Anderson. And to me, in the news footage, it looked like it was security footage, lacking a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request. I don't know if you've even seen the story on Channel 5. Is there any concern that or do you even know if that footage was requested, or did somebody leak that out?
I have all of the same questions that you have.
Okay. Yes,
I have a lot of questions.
Okay.
Just leave it there about how that was
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Because just from the perspective, from the lens and it's like, that's definitely the security camera. And why would somebody, anyway? So the other thing I want to ask about, and I hope I get this right, there is legislation or an executive order that discontinued the TS, is it TSP? The TPS. Can you tell, ma'am, a woman of Haitian descent and all this other stuff, can you tell me that where is our, not just Haitian, but our immigration community? You know, we have the Trust Act. We understand your colleague across the hall that used to be your colleague. I think y'all crossed over, maybe there, you know, is under fire. The governor's under fire, Sanctuary City. What is it that you would say to the immigration community in reference to what's going on? And then we're going to bring in Jack Fleming as well, because I know your time is short. His time is short as well.
Yeah, we are in really, really difficult times right now. Our immigrant communities, there's a lot of fear. And look, a lot of it is justifiable because we have someone who is sitting as our president, who is wreaking havoc, who only cares about havoc and harm, who only cares about weaponizing people's worst sentiments about immigrants and acting on that. And so there's a lot of fear. We are doing everything we can, from reaffirming the Trust Act. I'm showing up at federal courthouses in support of lawsuits against the Trump administration. We're giving out Know Your Rights cards. We're showing up and supporting Citizenship Day. In the budget, I'm running across the street to City Hall after this. We are advocating for more money for our immigrant communities, for lawyers, for support, for English classes. We are doing everything we can to try to make you feel safe. And we know that it is not enough because we have someone who only wants to cause harm as president. And so just know that we on the Boston City Council, we stand with you. I stand with you. We have a mayor who stands with us in this very issue. And so know that we are doing everything we can at the local level to make our babies in our schools feel safe, to make the folks who are at work feel safe, and to remind people that Boston is a city for everyone. Unless you were brought here unwillingly on a slave ship and are of direct descendant of slavery, or if you are indigenous to this land, everyone was brought here from somewhere. And so we have to remember that, and we have to figure out how we route out xenophobia and that hatred that Trump is really trying to sow in our country. And so my heart goes out to our immigrant communities, but know that we are here to inform you of our rights and to empower you and to stand with you.
Last question, Counselor, I forgot was in the case of that, whatever with, you know, there's no special election and that seat is vacant for a certain period of time. Another question that I didn't get you allowed to balance, and then it's 10 o'clock on the dot, so I'm doing well. Representation. I'm a D7 constituent. You know, if there is, and we got to understand that there's a vote, there's an influence on the overall city vote. Yes, the priority for the D7 counselor is D7, but then they also vote on things that are citywide. And if there's something that's taking a vote that, let's say, District 3, what's his face? I'm sorry, Councilor Fitzgerald, you know, is in favor, but it doesn't work good for D7. Who becomes that voice for D7?
So that's a good question. I want you to know also that the Homo petition would seek to waive the special election and to seat whoever wins, the candidate who wins, to seat them immediately. Yes. And that's an important component.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Even if the Homo petition, even if the whole special election thing is moot, I will still file a home rule petition on that issue alone to make sure that whichever candidate wins in D7 is seated expeditiously in November.
To 20 seconds, but the time between then, if there's development, if there's, I don't know, the city's working on the new transportation thing, and if there's something in D7 that's a concern, who's representing that voice? 20 seconds, ma'am, so I can be courteous to you, let you speak with Jack, and then bring Jack in.
4 at-large city councilors. I was in Roxbury Tuesday, Sunday. We are constantly in Roxbury dealing with Roxbury issues. I know, shout out to Councilor Mejia, who's always showing up in Roxbury. Shout out to Councilor Santana, who just moved to District 7. We are here. Rep Tyler, Senator Miranda, Rep Worrell, Rep Moran have all said that we are all going to step up to fill in that gap because we know how important D7 is. And I am willing to also be like, we need to pause here if there's something that's really about District 7 and the voice of the district councilor is really important. And I've talked about that.
Okay. Counselor, thank you. I hate to pivot so quickly, but we're going to go ahead and bring Jack in. You talk about inclusivity and things like that. We had Boston Day. We had the marathon. You know, we acknowledge a lot that happened, I believe, if I have it right, 2013.
Yes.
The bombing. Jack jumper. I told you, Lorna, that Jack he's just a natural. He's ready. Good morning, Jack and Lorna. I want to allow you opportunity to greet the counselor. And counselor, anything you want to share with Jack from the council in reference to everything that's getting ready to go on in the next few hours with the marathon. Counselor.
Well, good morning to both of you. I'm so excited to be with you on this marathon weekend. Jack, I don't know if you've met, but you've been so helpful to me and to our office when folks had questions or issues regarding the marathon. So I want to thank you. Marathon Monday is a special day in the city of Boston, one that now has a bit of a solemn element to it. I will soon be with the Richards family on the groundbreaking of the Dorchester House. But I'm just so excited about this weekend. On Monday, my team will be at the Red Sox game. We'll be at the finish line. We'll be at events in Fenway. We'll be actually, the Pioneers have 26 Point True this weekend, and I'll be kicking that off at 6:30 a.m. to make sure that we are supporting our diverse runners of color, our women of both the Trailblazers and Pioneers. And so I'm just so excited because running is about wellness, it's about health, and this weekend is about putting our city on the map. So thank you for all that you do.
Amazing. You have a busier, more jam-packed marathon schedule than I do, truly.
Yeah, right.
No. And
counselor.
thank you for that, because you truly are representing the city of Boston. The event bears the name Boston Marathon. So you're all in. I can tell. I will see you over in Dorchester within the hour or a little later. So I'll thank you in person for being all around the city and having the flag of the Boston Marathon and letting everyone in different neighborhoods know that this is their marathon too. We're working towards that. We really want that. Yes, we do have people coming in from lots of different countries all over every state, but first and foremost, we want to be Boston's marathon.
And I love that. And I love the work being done. And I know you all this year give out, maybe you do it every year, but I was more involved this year in giving out grants to running efforts. I know they're doing it in Hyde Park and in Mattapan, first time ever having a road race. So thank you for, doing the work of bridging that gap of making the Boston Marathon, connecting to our 23 neighborhoods. As a daughter of Mattapan and Hyde Park, that's something that matters deeply to me. So thank you.
We've, over the past couple of years, thanks for this conversation, Jimmy. Thanks for facilitating the conversation. But yeah, we understand that the marathon is something that is maybe not so within reach for so many, but it does start with simple steps, simple movements. Can be a walk around the block. It can be a walk on a park that someone has never been to before, feeling safe, right? And so if we can be more involved organizationally in Boston's many neighborhoods and places that we haven't been as much over the last century plus 29 years, then that is truly our way forward.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Thank you, Jimmy. This is a nice little treat.
I know you have a little further to go from the hall, and then Jack has to get there too. So that means that we got limited time with Jack, and he's going to be jumping out of here soon too. So, Counselor, thank you so much. We'll be in touch, and I'm sure I'll see you sometime down in the marathon area this weekend.
Awesome. I'll see you. Happy marathon weekend, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Jack and Lorna, first of all, thank you both for being so patient. I move in the political space and whatnot. And I had the counselor and I had to get everything out of her that I could. But, you two talked in the crossover, talked a lot about, it being Boston and so many things. And so I don't want to go there yet. But I first want to give you and Lorna the ability to say good morning. I'm just going to name this. Lorna, for the past 3, I think, years, has kind of been behind the scenes doing stuff. We got her on screen today. So Jack, we just need to name that we got Lorna on camera. And if Thaddeus and other folks that know her in the room, I see him in the room. It's a wonderful thing. So Jack and Lorna, please greet the audience. Jack, I know your time is short. We'll get some updates, some celebrations, and then we'll let you go to get ready to get up to the park. But please say good morning to the folks.
Absolutely. You mentioned Thaddeus, and I hope he's in his time of the year where he's thinking about the 5K. I know he has his own goals, continues to have his own goals and objectives. So he's also representative of so many, and I hope that he has a great experience, and everybody does. In fact, at our 5K on Saturday morning, which is, part of marathon weekend. It's the final culminating 26.2 miles is on Monday, but we are underway here, and I invite everyone around the city and our adjacent towns and cities to come on and participate. Participating is not just running 26.2 miles from Hopkinton to Boston on the third Monday in April. It is coming down and getting a sense of it. The expo is free. That's at the Heinz. The Fan Fest presented by Dick's Sporting Goods on City Hall Plaza, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, free. Welcome everyone. The finish line, Boylston Street, is open to everyone. It's not closed off. It's a bit of a unique thing for our city's marathon, the Boston Marathon, where it is a place to walk around and take it all in. Hopefully, in the course of that, there will be some inspiration. There should be things for everyone to do. This is not the Boston Marathon of the 60s, 70s, and 80s only.
Yep.
There is meant to be an infusion of what's contemporary and current today. And it's not just what the Boston Athletic Association does. It is what other running groups, running communities, fitness organizations, et cetera. It truly is, or can be, a celebration of health and fitness in the city to continue on into this calendar year.
Jack, there's just so much there, and Lorna, he went right into the work, and the greeting, and I didn't get a chance to, I don't know, ask how you guys are doing, but Jack, while we're there, there are a lot of things. I've been involved. I've seen the great celebration at I believe, Lorna, I did the 5K moderating in November, but there was the wheelchair competition. I believe there was a note of celebration there. There's, there is the wheelchair competition coming up this year. There's a notable point there. What is that? Is it the 20th year? What year for how many?
50 years.
50, not 15.
Yeah, half a century. 1975, when Bob Hall was the first wheelchair participant to complete the Boston Marathon. Absolutely incredible. So we're doing a lot to highlight Bob. He's an incredible ambassador for the event. He will be one of our grand marshals, which means he will be processing down the marathon route on Monday morning, along with iconic legend Bill Rogers. And it's also 50 years since his first win of the Boston Marathon. So we are doing a lot to celebrate our amazing wheelchair athletes, our para athletes in the broader sense across the 7 categories, and all of our adaptive athletes as well. So 50 years, we're the leader really in the marathon world around para and adaptive sports. So we're really proud of that.
Absolutely. And Jack, when you and Counselor Rusi were talking, I heard language around inclusion and equity. You were very specific and balanced of, folks are welcome from other countries and whatnot, but you kind of leaned in and said, this is mainly, it's the Boston Marathon. So there, I'm aware because I've been involved. Can you update us on any things that you're doing to, ensure is not the word, to market or share with the community that everybody's welcome. You mentioned the inspiration to maybe get fit. There's a whole lot I'm trying to squeeze in before you get out of here, but
yeah, no. Yeah, thanks. I mean, thank you. First of all, even your invitation for us to join you today, this morning, on the occasion of going into the weekend is truly, truly significant, important, and we value that. We value your audience. When we talk about the Boston Marathon to our relatively small 38-person organization, we say, we're not going to try to be New York.
Hold on. 38 people make this thing happen?
Well, a lot of volunteers and a lot of great supporters, of course. Yeah, it takes more than a city. It takes 8 cities and a Commonwealth, et cetera. But thank you. We say we're not going to try to be London. We're not going to try to be New York. We're going to be Boston. We're going to be who we are ourselves, and we're going to try to look and represent Boston first and foremost. Because when people come to Boston, they want Boston, and we're working on that. What does that mean to us? That means, for example, Boston's Marathoners program, a relatively new program, which gives an opportunity, I'll say it, for those from Boston to train and be empowered and learn from those who have been in this program previously, to be able to try out the Boston Marathon for the first time. It is not easy. Any marathon is not easy. The marathon distance always is hard, has to be respected. And so I have to give tremendous credit to Suzanne Walmsley, who's worked to develop this program with the city and others. It's been amazing. And that led to a new program this year called Medley to the Marathon. And again, tremendous, all kudos to Suzanne for bringing this idea. And what this is the 5K to the 10K to our half marathon. Let's see how that goes. For some, the marathon is not necessary. It's great. It's out there.
Hold on. You're going to get in trouble. No, I'm messing.
No, but you were at the half marathon in Franklin Park.
Yep.
I think we saw that the half marathon on the opposite side of the calendar year can be a fantastically fulfilling sense of accomplishment, achievement for anyone, no matter what their pace may be. Yep. And that is true cause for celebration. And any medallion that someone achieves themselves, there is no shortcuts on this. Yes, it takes a lot of support, takes a lot of encouragement, family, et cetera, time. But at the end of the day, everyone's accomplishment is their own. And that is reason for celebration.
Jack, there's not too much more to be said. Lorna can go into some of the details of the programming because I know you have to get up to the park, but I really appreciate you. I think, Lorna, correct me, when did we start doing this? This is our 3rd or 4th year?
This is our 3rd year.
Third year where Jack comes on. Jack, Adrian will get me if when you talk about everybody coming from across the country, the BAA, the Boston Marathon, also supports an event that I've been involved with for 3 or 4 years. The Black Unicorns happening Saturday. I'll get to see you there as I do the past few. Make sure, Lorna, I usually try to steal Jack's pin. Make sure he has an extra pin.
Yeah, no. Well, that's I will have one in my pocket, but I hope to have it. Do you have one on right now? No. I thought you had it on right here. No.
Oh, Jack. Jack, don't you got to get to the park? We're going to take a quick commercial break. Lorna will come back and get some more details, and folks will be right back with you. Jack, thank you so much. I'll see you Saturday. Safe travels to the park, and Lorna will be right back.
Says
Thank
good.
you, Jimmy.
We'll be right back with you, everybody. Give us 2 seconds for a commercial, and we shall return in 2 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you.
Microphone check 1 2. Here we go. Java with Jimmy live at the City Winery. Microphone check 1 2. How you doing? I am well. Are you? We just here to have a good time. We're here to have a good time with everybody, hanging out at City Winery. Coming to perform, and they're taking pictures of us. Some will do like this real quick.
Hey, everybody. If you're just joining us back, we just let Jack go. He's going up to the Martin Richards. Did I get it right? Martin Richards Park.
It's the Dorchester Boys and Girls Club are doing their groundbreaking ceremony, and Martin Richards Foundation is part of that. They're supporting it. So big event today, very timely, obviously, with Boston, one Boston Day just being 2 days ago as well.
I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that because the Councilor Louis Jen did mention that, there's a solemnness to this of, what happened some years ago. And so that's been acknowledged. The one Boston Day I seen the pictures and whatnot. First of all, now that Jack's gone.
Hi.
I got you on camera. Where's Thaddeus? Uncle Thaddeus is in the room. Anybody that knows you, this is going to be the talk besides the marathon. This is going to be the talk for the next few days.
I like trying to be behind the camera, but obviously the show was promoted as my wonderful colleague, Lauren Proshan. Lauren's in operations. As you know, we are a small team of 38 people. Operational things happen. She literally was here 1 minute and then got a call and out the door. So you got me.
I am so glad to have you. So Lorna, I get the opportunity to talk to you offline. Thank you for the opportunities to host. The pictures and the reminders are coming up from the pavilion last year where I got to interview Meb, which is crazy. And so we got a couple of folks getting ready to come in for our next segment. So I want to give you time to go a little bit deeper about, what it is that BAA is doing off cycle of the marathon. There are investments, there are programs, there's support. I see Charlene in, who's a part of Trailblaze Hers. And so there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes with the marathon. So I guess we could say the marathon is the on camera and throughout the year is the off camera. Tell us about.
I like to say that the BAA Boston, we're more than the marathon. So obviously, this weekend, we're all in for the marathon and our 5K, and it's not just Monday. There's a whole host of stuff. Jack obviously touched on the expo, the fan fest. It really is an amazing weekend just to be in town. There's other races you can go to around the world, and you might not know that the marathon is happening. You cannot be in Boston this weekend and not know that something big is happening. Saturday is incredible. If you're around the Back Bay area, come and watch the 5K, then stay for the professional miles. It's like Grand Prix on race, for racers. It's laps around a couple of streets. They finish at the finish line. You got a grandstand there. You can all come in, go crazy. The atmosphere around it is great. And as Jack alluded to, it's not just for the people coming from 118 countries, by the way, in all 50 states. It's for everybody. You don't need to be a runner to be part of it. And we have these 10,000 volunteers who are so passionate, equally, if not more passionate than the runners, that they get to be part of this. We've got people that have done this for 30, 40 plus years. It's their entire life. So the volunteerism is a huge part of the marathon, and that then continues through the rest of the year. Jack talked about the distance medley, but we have our neighborhood fitness series presented by Boston Children's Hospital that runs. We had our first one at the Reggie Lewis in March, record attendance, families, people running on a track for the first time. We take it through different neighborhoods over the year. The next one is next month. That's fantastic. That gives people a chance to just try running, walking, being involved, mums or dads running with their kids. I brought my son to Reggie Lewis. He's not stopped talking about it, running and jumping in a sand pit, heaven for a 3-year-old. So we do a lot of community events. We're also a big partner with Thaddeus in the Road to Wellness 5K, which will be in September. That'll be the 11th year that we've supported them. Yep. So we don't just do our own events. We try, where possible, to support with our organizational abilities, but also grants to support other organizations across the state who are doing lots of really good work and need a little bit of injection from our side to help them do a bit more. So it's not always just us trying to do everything as the BA. We're trying to support others. The Reggie Lewis Track and Athletics Centre is a huge part of that. We announced in November last year a major gift program with them. So for the next 4 years, we are committed to supporting them. And they're being able to do more free programming for the community. So there's a number of events and a run club 3 mornings a week that they're now able to put on because we've given them some extra funding to make that happen. So we're really trying to touch as many people as we can in the running space, from professionals to amateurs and complete beginners. And it's a year-round job. People think we only work on the marathon and then the rest of the year's off, but we finish this and then we're straight on to, the 10K in June and the community event. So there's a lot going on, but we love it.
There is a lot going on, and I get to, text and email and some things and prep and just check in. And one of the things that, we talk about often, and Lorna, I would really love for you to explain to the audience that the importance of course safety.
Yeah.
Folks aren't restricted from just running out and celebrating their people because, we don't want people to be celebrated. They're if you could give us, because I know you know this, Jack can explain it, but Lorna's in comms, and so she's going to give us sort of the layman, perspective. Course safety. Why is that such a priority? Lauren's probably out now doing something to make sure everything's good for programming in the course. Course safety. Give us the importance of it and why. One, all marathons, but in Boston, the way we do in the 8 cities Jack mentioned. Talk about course safety, please.
I mean, the marathon is unlike any other sporting event, that you've got, participants and spectators in open towns and cities. It's not controlled in a stadium. So we really need to work very hard with our city and town partners from Hopkinton all the way to Boston to ensure that first of all, our participants need to have a clear course. You don't want to be running a marathon and you're mile 18, 19, a bit fuzzy, like trying to put one foot in front of the other, and there's something that gets in your way. We don't want people to be injured. We don't want people to be obstructed. We want people to have the best possible chance to run their race the best way that they can. So we need the course clear. We've got para athletes that we talked about before, people with prosthetics, people in wheelchairs. You don't want slippery surfaces or somebody getting in their way and causing an accident or, endangering anybody. And then you've got the fact that, with recent world events and other things going on, we need the course to be clear so that our medical personnel can access the course for whatever reason, should it be needed. They don't want to be having to move spectators out the way where they're not allowed to be. And law enforcement has to be able to get on should, heaven forbid, there be a reason. So we really want everybody who's coming out to spectate to have the best day. We want everyone to enjoy it. Everyone enjoys it if they stay, at the side, just like you would in Gillette. You wouldn't run onto the pitch. People stay, in the marked areas for spectators. You can all see, what it's like when you're in a crowd and people start edging forward and then everyone else can't see. Yeah. So we have demarcation. We want everyone to enjoy it. We want everyone to feel welcome and part of it. And we want our runners to be able to run straight down that 26.2 miles and, not have any concerns for their safety or footing or, the potholes. The team does a great job trying to make the surfaces as smooth as possible, but you've got a lot of things thinking about when you're running down there, your pace, your time, how you're feeling, where your next gel's coming from. You want to be able to run clear, unobstructed. And we've been working really hard just to do more to communicate that. You'll see lawn signs down the course. Our towns and cities have been really helpful with that. All our partners are sharing our message. And it really is celebrate and cheer, but keep the course clear, because this is about everybody. This is everyone's day. So,
Say that again, celebrate and cheer. And did you just drop a bar? Celebrate and
cheer, keep the course clear.
All right, Lorna. A lot of the messaging and stuff that goes on in the marathon. I have the pleasure of having the young lady here behind it with the team. Lorna definitely and Jack always attribute a lot of the success to the team and those that are around them. Lorna, we have a couple of seconds left. Can you tell us a little bit last year? And I'll just confess, the only reason I'm not a part this year, because after Lorna sent me about 7 or 8 availabilities, I got caught up and never got back to her to schedule. But because, to your point, planning for this goes months out. Can't come in, hey, Lorna, you got a spot for next week? So let's talk about the opportunity I had last year to see what goes on at the pavilion. I mean, there's the marathon. And Lorna, I have to confess, thank you and Jack and Thaddeus and Gail and some others, Rochelle. The first year that I went down there, I'm from Boston, Lauren, and at that time I think I was 50. It's a whole new world. You know what I mean? And so I just encourage people to go down to what Lorna's going to talk about, the pavilion. You don't have to be a runner. It's a vibe. It
really is. And you know, I live in Rhode Island now, but I've lived in Providence. It's unrecognizable, but in a good way. It changes. There's such an atmosphere, and the expo opens tomorrow at 10 a.m. I can't believe that we're nearly there. It is open to everyone. You don't have to be a runner going to pick up a bib. Come down. We've got programming the entire 3 days. And you were part of that last year, but we've got some really, really interesting things from some of our Indigenous athletes coming to talk. We're celebrating 50 years of the wheelchair. I'm hosting a couple of panels on
one of which a certain person it's on right now is on one of those panels.
So we're doing motherhood and marathoning, talking to all the women out there who are juggling a big load, and about our lactation programs. We're doing one about accessibility, which is really exciting. A couple of points for this year, new for our spectators. We want them to feel really comfortable and welcome. We're having a new sensory friendly area in Wellesley for people to come. So if you are with a child who has autism or a grown-up and you want to come to a new space, which is very accessible, with Flutie Foundation providing support, we're trialing first marathon, I think, to trial this. We're having a sensory friendly area in Wellesley. All the information's on our website. We're also having additional ADA accessible seating on Boylston Street down the finish. So folks coming in wheelchairs can see through the barriers. They have an unobstructed view. We're really trying to support our participants, but also our spectators. So we're talking about that. We have some of our amazing professional athletes coming to do panels. There's some podcast recordings. I'm doing one on runner safety. So yeah, Rochelle Solomon, big part of what we do at the BAA. She's a huge supporter. Her, along with deaf athlete Thomas Eller, non-binary athlete Ryan Montgomery, and former professional athlete and Olympic medalist Dina Castor, talking about runner safety, but what that means to different people in different environments and different locations. It's not a one stop for all. So there's so much programming. People can find it all on our website, all the programming. We'll have ASL interpretation for a number of our panels as well. So again, trying to do more for inclusion. And everything kicks off for us tomorrow with our press conferences. So the athletes are arriving today. It's all happening. The famous gold laurel wreaths are being presented by the Greek consulate tonight to our chairperson, Dr. Sherry Blowett. So that really signifies the start of it all. And these are the laurel wreaths that you see on Monday being presented to our champions. Huge tradition, big part of our history. So that's tonight. And then from tomorrow, the ribbon gets cut at the expo. Everybody's arriving. Jack and I are actually going to Logan Airport this afternoon to welcome some athletes in, a bit of a surprise and delight. Okay. So people coming off the plane are going to meet Jack and Massport CEO Rich Davey, just to welcome them and really get the party started.
Lorna, I'm almost tired just thinking about it. I've thank you. I've committed. Lorna has offered me a couple of years. James, come on down to the finish line. And I'm
You're coming this year.
I am. I'm going to the library. I'm coming. I do have some reservations up the seat so I can go back and forth and eat and then come back out. But Lorna, thank you and Jack for being with us. I still can't get over the fact that I get to have you to be here today. To filler of this, but more than a filler. I mean, you definitely. Anyway, I know some folks in this room know your role at Boston Athletic Association. So Lorna, thank you. I will see you on, if you pop through on Saturday. If not, I will definitely see you maybe Sunday. Or
I'll see you at some point, but just thank you so much for the chance to talk about it. And I just, we're so grateful to the city of Boston for supporting it. So download the racing app, get all the information. We just want to see as many people coming out and having a great time. That's what it's all about. And so far the weather's looking good. So keep everything crossed. Because
that is one thing that will cause you to get
one thing we can't control, but we'd love to.
No, but Lorna, you will get a text talk about, hey, Lorna, if it rains, I might melt. So I don't know. I'm messing. But thank you so much for being with us. Give Jack my thanks again. And I'll see you guys on, if not both of you on Saturday, sometime this weekend at the pavilion or at the finish line.
Enjoy it all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Lorna.
Bye.
Hey, folks, we are, I believe, I'm just texting my next guest. We're in a marathon. There's supposed to be one more guest coming on in just a second. And I am just checking to make sure that we are good. Okay, there he is. All right, we have a perfect timing. I don't have to take a commercial. Brother Armani.
How you doing, brother?
First of all, don't be coming in with the radio overdub.
So what?
The radio overdub voice.
Is that the radio overdub voice?
When you just said, "How you doing, brother?" Like you could be, "Hi, this is Java with Jimmy."
Ah,
How you doing, sir?
this is Java with Ziggy. No, I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
If I see that somewhere, just give a brother his royalties.
Oh no, you got 100%.
It is a pleasure to have you here. We are, it's been you're closing out the marathon. We started out at City Hall. We just left Copley Place, and we're back in Roxbury right now, sir. This is and we'll get me for this later. This is your first time in the Java Cafe, and there's so many reasons that you should have been in here and can come back, but timing is everything. You're an entrepreneur. You're in the cannabis industry. 420 is on Sunday. We're both raised in faith and understand the conflation of Resurrection Sunday and 420. So much to talk about, but if you could just give us a little bit about who you are, and if you can in there wrap up this investment that you have. You're the executive director of Reclaim Roxbury. I've known your family. I'm going to age myself. I won't call your dad a friend because, take that word very heavily, but then also I'm a little bit younger, but I know the work of the Whites, Trumana, and your brother Gilbert is the preacher. Yeah, sir, I told a little bit, but tell us a little bit about you, and then let's wrap up your landing and why you do what you do in Roxbury.
Yeah. So thank you for having me on, man. I love what you do here, and it's a pleasure to be on to talk about myself and the work. And I feel like nowadays, in this moment in history, it's important for all of us to be thinking about how to do more, to improve the situation for our people. And I love that your platform is for people like me and others that are trying to do that important work. So I guess about me. So I'm, born and raised Boston, grew up between Roxbury and where my grandmother lived in Bromley Heath, which is on the line of Roxbury JP. Now,
hold on. All right, I know about Pops. Who's your grandmother? Because I grew up in Heath Street.
You know my grandmother, not to say Nana Facey, Gladys Facey, the purple lady.
Now, over in the bricks, we may know her as a different name and we had a nickname, but this is the first time I'm hearing that there's correlation with Heath Street. Okay, go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Yeah. I couldn't let that go.
Yeah. No, all good. Yep. 930 Parker Street on the new side. She ran actually a free or like a pay what you can daycare for mothers who are working and going back to school, and was well known and raised a lot of people in that area. And so, my family is all about community and helping others, and also entrepreneurs and to a certain extent. But that inspired me from a young age, just, the story of my parents, my grandparents. And so I guess born and raised in the community, and went to school in Boston, grew up wanting to do something that I would be able to help my community, and to also, make some money and be able to provide maybe jobs, maybe opportunities for others too. And so I got my first opportunity in local politics interning for Byron Rushing in high school during I was watching at the time I think it was DeMassey kind of go, get in trouble, and watching that whole thing happen. So that was a wild experience to see in high school, but worked in high school on, advocating for like Black studies in my school. So it's always kind of been about doing advocacy. And after completing college, had gotten involved with my friends in advocacy around stop and frisk issues,
Yep.
The criminal justice issues. And, at the time, this was around like 2000 and 11. So this is like before, this is while I was in college, I should say, not after, but yeah, this is when, right before Trayvon Martin had been murdered. And so we were talking about like the prison industrial complex. And so that was, just a big formative moment for me, learning, doing that advocacy learning. And that transformed over time into doing advocacy around the issue, one of the other major issues in our community, which was the fact that it's unaffordable to live in our community. And just to rewind a bit, when it came to doing the work around Stop and Frisk, we were able to work with the ACLU to end up putting in I think it was a lawsuit or an inquiry into BPD around their racial demographics for Stop and Frisk issues. And that led to eventually the BPD committing to doing or just sharing more of the demographics of who they are stopping, which ended up showing that they were disproportionately stopping people that are Black and brown in Boston, which led to changes in, police community relations. And so, yeah, like after learning that, you can do advocacy and you can actually succeed at changing things. One of the issues as I got older that we wanted to focus on was this issue around, affordability. And yeah, no, what was that?
That landed you to where you are now in Reclaim Roxbury.
Exactly. It was Muscle Land is right there. So with Reclaim Roxbury and also a little, and that also connects me to my, my entrepreneurial side too. But with Reclaim Roxbury, at the time there was an effort by the city to decide and develop what's going to happen on over 40 acres of public land in then Dudley Square. That was called Plan Dudley Square. And we had concerns about the BRA, then it was called the BRA, developing land in our community because of some of the history of how they've moved, and wanted to do something to intervene. And at the time, City Councilor Tito Jackson was the councilor, and he had convened a study with RCC and MIT to figure out, what can we do as a community to figure out what we want to see in the community, and what would that look like. And so as advocates, we participated and joined up with the councilor and really turned the effort into like a community movement to come up with our own vision and demands for public land. And, kind of fast forward 3 years, in 2018, we got a commitment from them, Mayor Marty Walsh, to have diversity, equity, and inclusion standards on all the public land in Nubian Square. So that looked like is not just diversity, equity, and inclusion around who developed it, but other community, what we call Reclaim Roxbury community justice standards. So there's a requirement that 2/3 of the housing be affordable, both for the rental and home ownership, that there be good jobs at the both the in the construction and at the the permanent locations that are open. There's a commitment around diversity of who developed the parcels and who got the bids. So the people who are responding were basically required to team up. If you're a white developer and you want to develop on this land, you'd have to partner with Black and brown contractors to make sure that you're committing to this. Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that in our community we want to see and have been talking about seeing. And so we really fought hard over those 2015 to 2018 to build the consensus and build the power to win these demands. Another one was a commitment to sustainable development. So it's not just building stuff that is going to create more what are they called? I think it's heat islands in our community where there's no trees and it's just really hot and makes it worse for people with asthma. And yeah, so then there's probably some that I'm missing, but those standards have been followed.
I want to jump in and get to one of the points that we're here today. I let you go that way because you exemplified your investment in Roxbury. We're going to cut to the chase. There is a lot of chatter about a special election. I want to ask you, Amani, as someone from Roxbury, someone that I observed through the years that is very blunt, very balanced. Give me about 30, because trolls, legacy media, there's a situation where there's going to be an exit, as the council described it. There will be an exit of the current District 7 councilor. Somewhere in here, if you can talk about how you are addressing quote unquote accountability, you can add in some imbalances of how things are being covered, Black women versus some recent, discoveries of a state rep. But for you, you can say personally, If you need to say you're not representing Reclaim Roxbury, you can. If it's a resident, because I'm on it. You know how these people.
I hear you. Yeah,
You know, why?
Yeah.
I'll ask you, as someone from Roxbury that's been working in here. First of all, make plain your stance. Yes or no for a special election, and why?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question, and it is, it's a crazy time in our community, and it's unfortunate that we are kind of in this situation. Frankly, it's just not where any one of us wants to be, and but here we are. And yeah, when news broke, the immediate reaction from folks in my team was, "Oh my God, are we gonna have a special election? And what would that look like to have a special election? July, maybe. When would we have it? We don't know. It's up in the air. When the resignation would, if it even happens." And so that's always been a question, and folks are concerned about it. And we've seen in the past that there's, a way to end a special election. When Marty Walsh exited to take a new job, there was a home rule petition. And so I think it's important for folks to recognize that this is, the effort by Council President Lucy Louisian and Liz Breed, and it comes from community advocates reaching out and saying, "Hey, we need to get on top."
Hold on. I need you to verify, because it's easy for the council to say some of the community to community. You just said it came from what? Repeat that.
Community members reaching out. Yeah.
Can we be playing? I'm on you, and you know this space.
Yeah.
Let's just be plain before people try to. Some community members.
Yeah.
Who are some of the community members, if you don't mind? I mean,
myself. So with Reclaim Roxbury, for example, just so people understand our kind of relationship with local elections, every year since really we have been founding, but more so in the last 4 years, we have a civic team that we hire, that we basically have knock on doors and phone bank in our community. And what we do is we both educate folks on the importance of door-to-door, advocacy, door knocking, local issues. And through that, we build up a pool of volunteers, members, and we get people to come out to vote. And every year we see that in our community, our efforts lead to, people coming out to vote, but also it's been a struggle to really change that kind of voter turnout in our community. And so we connect with a ton of folks in our community around voting, and people always are confused every year. People don't know who's coming out. We hold forums, we hold, we do questionnaires. We really try to work to educate folks, but it's a tough battle. So when we heard about the special election, I reached out to my team, and I'm like, "What do you guys think of this?" And people are like, "This is going to be chaotic. This is going to be crazy." So that's my job as executive director, as a representative of an agency that, has members in Roxbury that advocate for making sure that people come out to vote. We wanted to make sure that we made it clear that the special election isn't going to be something that's productive in our community at a time when, as an election for mayor, our community is looking forward to coming out, and this, I think, would be a major curveball and a waste of resources at a time. So I was really happy to see, people like Bill Galvin come out and say, "Yeah, no, this is, not a good thing to do." So I think people, I feel like most of the people that I talk to are just like, "Yeah, this doesn't even make sense." So that's the reason that we reached out. And it's unfortunate, again, that our community is in this situation. And it's like, it sucks that we have to be here, but we are here, and we have to do what is best for our community. And so, that's what we do.
I appreciate it. And I was very intentional. Thank you. This was sort of last minute of an ask, because it's easy for us pundits. I consider both of us pundits, meaning that we move in the political space. We've been on campaigns. We've been were you at the hall at all? At any point? Okay. He said, so if you could have saw your face. Pundits are saying some things, but you are representative or representing a conglomerate, a group of people that live, move, work, and invest in Roxbury. And if I hear you correctly, you said you reached out, and it wasn't a thing where the counselor or somebody from the hall came to you and said, "Hey, we want to get your support." You're saying, "Hey, we need your advocacy to have this happen."
Yeah, man. It's that's what we have to do as advocates. We have, we have the emails and the phone numbers of the people who represent us in our community. And when things like this happen, we reach out. We say, hey, we have at-large city councilors that represent us. We have 4 at-large city councilors, or folks don't know. We have 9 district city councilors. We also, there are councilors outside of our district that are the chairs of committees of important issues that affect our community, like the housing committee, for example, that Liz Breeden chairs. So Liz Breeden is someone that, we have worked with on a number of issues, including advocating to ensure that that we have a strong inclusionary development policy. And so, when we think about our city council,
with her work, you went to her and
yeah.
is the president and her, because this, I got it one speed up because I got to get out to Salem, but 2, let me ask you this last question as someone, and again, we've had more agreement, maybe a couple of debates over the years. So I know your candor and your swag. Do you have concerns about representation? If there is a gap where, I don't know how to describe it.
Or am I worried about us having not representation at a certain time?
Specifically for D7, Amani, that is a real concern. That is a real concern.
I think my answer to that would be the big thing that's happening for our community coming up is the budget vote. And I think on the quickest timeline, we would not have a representative until after the budget vote.
After the budget, I didn't even think about that, bro, because we're in the middle of budget season and she still has the power to vote.
Yeah, if that counselor was to stay on, it was to not resign, she could. And I don't know anything of the details of anything of what's going on, but if she was to hypothetically be able to stay through the budget, that would ensure that Roxbury has representation for the budget. And so, but yeah, if she were to resign, then we wouldn't. But that wouldn't mean that a special election would make it so that we would have.
Because the person may not even be seated, and it's not just
they would not. It's not. They definitely would not. There's 100% chance. Yeah.
The earliest, even if anything happened on May 8th, city council clerk, the clerk don't notify the council until the 9th. Then you got to wait till the next Wednesday, and then you got to do all this other stuff. So anyway, we need to get you back on the After Dark because I want to talk about your entrepreneurship. I also want to hear from you about with this change of DEI and whatnot in the cannabis space. What's going on at the state level? How much I don't think any is federally funded because of the federal laws, but I do want to check in with you on an After Dark perspective about sort of the entrepreneurship perspective from you as well. Today was quick. I had to squeeze it in the marathon. Forgive me for your first appearance of not being able to build more, but I thought it was important, Armani, you specifically, because I hounded him. He was like, well, this one and that. I said, no, I want you. Because I know you're going to put it as it is. And you gave clarity today. This wasn't initiated by the council. This was initiated from some of the trolls, some members of the community, members who were invested, members who have made successes, and just had your first gala, which was kind of dope this year that I had to
celebrating 10 years of work. Yeah. And thank you for having me on, man. Thank you. I'd love to come back. Because we're working on a bunch of issues. Yeah, we're working on right now, making sure Northeastern has a strong community benefits package in their 10-year institutional master plan. We're working on lifting the ban on rent control. We have a whole bunch of big campaigns that we're advocating for that would love to come back on and talk about, and also the entrepreneur stuff. Love to come yap it up with you all day.
Well, that's true. We can come back and do a daytime one for the work, and we can come back and do an evening one for the play, which is work in your case.
Do it.
All right, Amani, thank you. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you, brother.
I appreciate you, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. And if y'all know Amani, he wasn't going to say that if you know him, he first of all wouldn't have came on. Second of all, he wouldn't have said what he's. Oh, I'm moving the mic. All right. We had the marathon, started off at City Hall, went to Copley, just left Roxbury. And I got to get my happy self out to Salem, Massachusetts. Now, thank you all for joining today. UCB members, you get an hour. Today's Thursday. Today's my Friday. Do me a favor, you all keep Miss Teresa in prayer, but not minor. I'm not making light of her health issues, but not anything major. Just keep her in prayer. She's not feeling well. Thank you to Shad, one of our candidates for D7 as well. So much covered. So it was a lot. And I'm just going to say this, and she gets it. I know Tashad. I'm not endorsing anyone. It's just easy for me to just hit like and share from a Black woman that's stepping up to represent. I'm not saying I'm not going to do that for anybody else, but again, just in case anybody wants to wonder why he always sharing her stuff with her, because I know her. We're in community together. Didn't know. And for her to take this. So anyway, y'all going to try to spin that. Tashad is a Black woman. Thank you for stepping up to want to be a leader, and all the candidates in D7 that are stepping up, and our current city council representative for D7. Tanya, thank you for the advocacy and everything that you are doing. Not done. Doing. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Tashad, you can't do that to me when I'm getting ready to go. I will see you guys on Monday at 10 a.m. I will probably be going live and stuff from the marathon and all of that. So, but we will see you Monday at 10 a.m. And we'll have a little live this afternoon because we're going to test we're going to test everything today for Salem State University next Friday. I'm not even going to do a closing because I got to get out of here. We'll see you tomorrow.